So looking at the men's singles draw as we move into our second match, and Kidambi Srikanth against Chou Tien Chen. This is section 4 of the draw, and the winner of this will play either Liu Guangzhou or HS Pranoy. But still in this section of the draw, as you can see, Magnus Johansson, Li Zijian, a lot of other big names, because that's what it's all about at this Super 750 level. And here they come, former world number 1 Kidambi and Chou Tien Chen. So, getting ready for the coin toss. World number 20 now, Kidambi. He was former world number 1. That was back in 2018. Also a silver medalist at the World Championships as well. Last meeting, as you can see, was at the Japan Open last year. And Tien Chen with a 6-2 lead in the head-to-head.
Black.
So, world number 20 taking on the world number 13. A lot of good results for Chou Tien Chen in 2023. He was third at the Japan Masters. He won the Hilo Open. He's also a quarter-finalist at the Asian Games and the Australian Open. And as for Kidambi, well, he hasn't had the best at 31 years old now. Hasn't had the best of starts to 2024. 5 events entered, and it's been first or second round exits for him. So really important for him to get underway. And you can just see from the ranking there, 24 now. But it has been as high as number 1. And he's moved down the pecking order in terms of men's singles players from India. Of course, recently, just this week, Sai Praneeth has announced his international retirement. Now he's going to be coaching for the US team. But Lakshya Sen's still in the mix after a first-round win yesterday. And HS Pranoy also in the mix as well. And there's Chou Tien Chen, 34. So we've got a 31-year-old playing a 34-year-old. And of course, he's currently 14th in the world. Very solid player, Tien Chen. As for Kidambi, well, 2023 saw a quarter-final berth in Australia and also the Indonesia Open. So a lot for both of them to prove here in Paris. Umpire for this one, Chris Yip. And he's joined by our service judge, Ivo Cassel. Well, the men's singles discipline already has had some big names out. Defending champion Jonathan Christie was out yesterday.
Ready to play.
Kenta Nishimoto, Koki Watanabe, Wang Hongyang, and Toma Popov. All out already. Just a testament to exactly how tough it is in terms of a run to the final at any Super 750 or 1000. All those big names are in there. Oh, he's all smiles, Kidambi. The continuing rise of Indian badminton. Got another shot in the arm last month when the women's team picked up their first ever Continental Championship at Badminton Asia. That was a wonderful surprise to them. Of course, Satwig and Shetty, still world number 1s. They've had a wonderful start to the year.
On my right, Chou Tien Chen, Chinese Taipei. And on my left, Kidambi Srikanth, India.
Oh, this should be a very interesting
Kidambi
matchup.
Srikanth for serve. Love all, play.
That's called in. Just on the edge of the line.
1 love.
Well, I'm fully expecting Chou Tien Chen to get into that groove. That's the thing about his playing style. It's all about consistency. Willing to play out the rallies. And Srikanth definitely, based on these opening 2 points, looking to finish them off a bit quicker. That's a mistake that's given him a second point. It's a great view from that overhead camera. Nice touch by Srikanth. That's a good rally. Tien Chen, as I said, settling into this rhythm. Makes him a very hard player to get past if he's on form.
3 love.
But right now, absolutely nothing going his way. Just gone wide.
Service over. 1-3.
So first point on the board for Chou Tien Chen. That's another great cross by Kidambi, who rushes in.
Service over.
That was good combination from him.
4-1.
That was great, but this was better.
Thank you.
Well, he started brightly, Kidambi.
Service over. 2-4. Service over. 5-2.
Well, into this match.
Service over.
5-3. So, Chris, well, we've watched this match unfold so far. 4-5 right now. What's your take on it so far?
I think it's an interesting one because there's two players who, you know, the later stage of both their careers. They've still both got time left, but you know, they're kind of two players that have shown, and in the past they've been some of the highest ranked players in the world, and it's such a battle of experience, as it were. You know, they've both been in this situation. Both of them are, it's not they're struggling for form, that's an exaggeration, but they're not quite at the best that they've been, and both of them have had quite a calm start to the game, which you'd expect because they're very, very experienced. It kind of finding each other out, moving the shuttle around, getting used to the conditions.
Yeah. Well, as I said, 31 years old, 34 years old on the other side, and definitely trying to push against that aging factor, try and get the best out of themselves.
You have to say for Chou, 34 years old, physically, he's, you know, it's phenomenal. And obviously, behind the court, he's got his Victoria, who's more of a physical side of things in regards to, I believe she links with his strength and conditioning and his physiotherapy. I've got to say, she's doing an incredible job. At 34, he's in phenomenal condition.
No challenge coming. Chou, after being 4-love down, as I said, he's settled into this great consistent rhythm of his. There is so much experience, as you just said, Chris, on this court.
It isn't an interesting game because you're talking about two players here that are playing each other first round who majority of their careers over the last 7-8 years have been top 10 in the world, both players. And it's a battle now of who can sneak past the other one for the first round.
Yeah.
Service over. 6-7. Play.
Wonderful cross there from Kidambi.
Brilliant placement.
7-0.
Behind the court for Srikanth, you've got Kashyap, the husband of Saina, who himself was an incredible player, and you know he's gone straight into coaching for India, which is great to see, and the depth that India have in the men's singles and in the singles category, full stop. You know, they're a real powerhouse, and as you said earlier, India winning, you know, this big surprise a few weeks ago at the ladies team event in Asia.
Well, if you follow that up from last year's, I think it was last year's Thomas Cup win as well, it's that huge army of players that's coming through, which in itself is inspiring more young players because their pool of talent is huge. But then you've got, you know, great Gopichan, you've got great coaches as well on top of that are. And as I said, Bisai Praneeth this week has announced his retirement from international badminton. He's now going to take on a coaching role for the US. Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to see how that plays out. Well, that news came out over the last 24 hours.
And this is the exciting thing, though, in India. They, like, if I think 10 years ago, they were good, but now, I mean, wow, they're a superpower. And they're only getting better and better, and there's more children playing and higher participation, more facilities, and the kind of the exposure that the athletes have, it's just raising. And obviously, men's doubles, #1 in the world. It just adds to that.
It was signed in Nehwal and PV Sindhu that really set open the singles part of things. But now, what's going to happen with this world #1 men's doubles? How many men's doubles players are going to turn up out of India, and how good are they going to be? I think that Thomas Cup victory actually was on the cards because even women's doubles with Panapa and Gutta as well. There's just been a lot of great team-ups. Talking of that, actually, Crasto and Panapa unfortunately didn't make it past the first round, but
they did actually lose to their Indian teammates. Yeah, so that's the crazy thing,
So mid-game interval, 11-7 up, and the former world #1 Kidambi is in control.
ఇక్కడ నుంచి మంచిగా పెద్దగా చేసుకుంటూ ఉంటే మంచి అన్ని స్ట్రోకులు దొరికిపోతుంది. జస్ట్ లోపల ఆడుకో, షార్ప్ కూడా అవసరం లేదు, మెల్లగా ఆడుకోవాలి. సేమ్ మంచి పేస్లో మంచి కదులుతూ పైనుంచి టాస్, పైనుంచి డ్రాప్, మంచిగా ఆడు తిక్క నీ చేతిలో ఇలా పెట్టడాలు, మంచిగా పైకి వెళ్ళి మళ్ళీ ఏమీ దాని వాడు అక్కడ ఉన్న చోట అక్కడ డ్రిబుల్ అవసరం లేదు. మంచిగా లేపుకొని దూరం చేయాలి.
Court 1, 20 seconds. Court 1, 20 seconds.
Think about being steady at it, like this. Keep going.
So back on court, second phase of game 1. And it's Kidambi now that is ahead,
11,
showing flashes
7,
of his former greatness.
play.
Lovely bit of deception there from
Service
Chou.
over.
Just going back to obviously
8, 11.
the coaching side of things. For me, Chou, he has such a unique one because he does have someone behind his court, but as far as I understand, Victoria, she doesn't give him any kind of tactical input. It's just motivation and encouragement, which is very unique for this level. We're talking about the very, very best in the world. Pretty much every other player has a coach who gives them, you know, advice, tactical advice, technical advice.
12,
Can be encouragement
8.
as well, but obviously in a more specific way to improve their performance.
I guess there's two ways of looking at it. I mean, if you find the right combination, however it works, and it's becoming effective and there's proving results, then that works. But if you look at PV Sindhu, for example, who's changed coach now
13,
in this comeback
8.
run 3 times. I think it's Agus that's her latest coach now. And well, I mean, we'll find out this week, I guess. But you know, that Badminton Asia win, she was instrumental in that. So I think that it really does. It's what works for you.
No, 100%. It's what works for the player, and I think some players in federations don't obviously have that luxury because you don't choose your coach. Your coach is chosen, and you have to accept it. And hopefully the federation makes the right choice and they pick a coach, you know, of a good caliber. But we're seeing more and more now where players are individually picking their coaches, and it's a unique system, a unique setup, and I think it's exciting for the sport because it gives us this kind of adaptation slightly. We're moving away from what we did have. You know, it's fantastic. We also have players who are in federations and they love it, and there's players that are in federations that are happy with it, but they like to pick their own coach.
And you get that mixing of playing styles as well, obviously, when you have different coaches going to different countries. Oh, this is a great rally. I'm going to say it from the 2 veterans on court. You don't usually get to say that with some of the young players, but 31-34, that's apt.
Come in.
A wipe down needed there. Kidambi actually looks pretty sharp on his toes.
Kidambi's always had a phenomenal kind of attacking game. I remember when he kind of, it was almost like he burst onto the scene. It was Thailand Open, going all the way back. I'm trying to remember when it was. It's
got to be around 2016, 2017, I'm thinking.
It was actually back in 2013.
Oh, wow.
When he burst on the scene and he won Thailand Open. Not from nowhere, but it was a big, big surprise. And he, you know, Srikanth's been on the scene for a very long time, and he is such a dangerous player. There again, showing his attacking prowess.
15-9.
I think over the last 18 months, he's just struggled with that consistency in his form. He's shown times where he has played at the highest level, and then he's just had a few performances that weren't quite to that level, and he's just then struggled to kind of build the momentum.
Well, 2013, that's 11 years ago, means that he was one of those trailblazers. He was basically one of those Indian players that really set the scene on fire.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, going back to the point you made about the lady singles, Saina and Sindhu, 2 phenomenal lady singles players that changed everything for India, really. And then you've had a few men singles players do the same, and Srikanth 100% was, you know, one of them quite early on, and even Kashyap behind the court, he was also one of them, and Pranoy, who burst on the scene and didn't then maybe quite perform, and only over the last 2 years has done incredible. Again, he's kind of come back.
Oh, yeah. Picked up his first title at the age of 30. Which was, and that's just from that work ethic when you watch him play. Talking of Pranoy, and I guess you could say this with the amount of Indian singles players that are actually in the draw, winner of this match is going to face either Lu Guangzhou or HS Pranoy. There's a chance for an all-Indian second round, which is a shame it's at the early part of the tournament. It'd be great if it was in the semi-finals or later on.
But the magical thing for India is they've got so many players now that the chance of that happening, you know, is increasing and increasing. And it's a bit like what we said about the lady singles. India have 5 lady singles players, top 15 in the world. You know, India in a year's time, you know, okay, maybe not to that extent, but they're going to get closer and closer. The depth they have is phenomenal. I actually spoke to someone recently about a tournament that happened in India at it was a junior tournament, and they said there was 1,200 entries. You know, and it's phenomenal because in the country I'm from, England, we'd love to have even close to that. You wouldn't have that if you put all the tournaments together for the whole year that happened in the country, let alone one tournament. And this is the,
wow.
and you know, it was a week-long tournament because, and it was it's
playing
just
100 matches a day.
Thing, yeah.
Well, that can only lead to better, more quality players.
Yep. Yeah, they're getting more and more coaches, and they've got fantastic players who are stopping to become coaches, and it's amazing, really amazing over the last 10 years what's happened in India, and part of that's obviously down to
these trailblazing players.
Yeah, and the coaches, you know, Sir Pallela Gopachan, who was one of the first players, won the All England and really did magical things, and now he's created an amazing setup in India, and his daughter's one of the top ladies doubles players there now as well. Well,
that was a great shot there by Kidambi, who's now 19-10 up in this match. He's really turned on the Jets in these last few points. Chou Tien Chen with a good drop there into mid-court.
Service over.
Yeah, Srikanth's really pulled away in the last kind of quarter of this game so far. He's pulled now a big lead.
Well, I've just noticed that also on court 3 happening right now is that match between Liu Guangzhou and HS Pranoy. And Pranoy is currently ahead in that match. I'll keep you updated as major things happen, but he's doing well.
I'd definitely say in this first game,
12,
Srikanth is the player who is being more proactive, more aggressive and attacking, and this is why the scoreline is in his favour, and it's hard for Chou to kind of contend and compete when he is the player on the defence.
Well, he's certainly been getting on the attack a lot more, Kidambi, and I said Chou has been looking for longer rallies. That's a great shot. He's lofting that over, but Kidambi was kind of out of position as to where he should have been.
Slightly loose net shot as well from Srikanth just on that backhand. Chou reads it really well just there, a bit loose. Chou reads it really well and brushes it.
Yeah, he had a lot of space to aim at. For me personally, Chris, as I said, there are various phases in an athlete's career. Obviously, I love the answer young part when you're 21 years old and you're blowing everyone apart. But I personally do love it when you're pushing the age. You know, when Roger Federer was in his final year, some of the matches he played in tennis was amazing. And that's what you're getting here. You get a few more errors that creep in. You've got those flashes of experience and brilliance from your past that's come through. And in this match, that's exactly what's happening.
I think generally as players, that's fantastic. Srikanth there, incredible defense.
Wonderful.
But as players get older, it's hard to manage to turn things around again. And what I mean by that is when your form starts to dip, it can only take a little dip, but then it's even harder when you get slightly older to then pull it back with some of the other things that can go on with injuries, with you might get pushed down the pecking order with the country you're in or the federation or whatever, and even things like belief. Do you really believe that you can once again be one of the best in the world? And I think the best example of this is Kim and Anders from Denmark, the men's doubles pair.
Absolutely, they've had a great run.
Absolutely
recently.
Phenomenal, number 4 in the world, and they went through a patch where it's about 4 or 5 tournaments in a row. They lost first round, and then all of a sudden something clicked at the European Games, played quite well, and then after that,
they
got the confidence, got the momentum, and incredible. Like, you know, a new pair.
Well, right now, Kidambi has stolen this first game and stolen it in style. 21-15. Looking good.
球重新去组织你的节奏，然后它其实就是会一直在后面，然后去破坏你，就是所以我觉得现在就是说你要注意他后场的球，然后你的站位可以稍微调整一下，然后你连上去要快，然后不要全力杀，因为全力杀有时候上去会比较吃力，就是连贯为主，连贯为主。没问题啊，我觉得打得很不错啊，就是把自己的那个节奏那个控制，然后找回来。不用急，需要果冻吗？ 续打，加油！
Court 1, 20 seconds. Court
already
1,
out early
20 seconds.
for game 2. And all the questions being asked now of Chou Tien Chen. He has to really step in and win this second game.
Second game. Level play.
And for the down the line,
Service
just
over.
a little bit wide.
1 love.
Well, certainly looks
2
like there
love.
might be a bit of drift on that bottom line. What we've seen this morning anyway, but so really it's about reading what's
Service over.
happening over the week.
1, 2.
Yeah, I would say the drift's just slightly coming this way.
Yeah.
To Chou. I would say for me, Chou, his body language just looks a little bit flat. He's the kind of guy that can be really energized and, you know, flying around the court. And I would say it's partly due to Srikanth's kind of not allowed him to look confident and look flowing.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, he looks a bit more muted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes when you try and control your emotions, it can do that. You know, you want to stay calm, you want to stay relaxed, but sometimes it does kind of mute you and it stops you from flowing and moving with speed and aggression. And just looks like at the moment Srikanth's got a little bit more control of the match of what's going on.
Well, he's certainly being a lot more inventive, Srikanth, in terms of creating these rallies, and we're in one right now again, but as you can see, he's using the full width of the court, and then he pops up. So he's always looking for that attacking point.
Yeah, I would say Chou's he's trying to make some calculated decisions a few times where he's chasing forward to the net, and Srikanth's just seeing it and going over him, and then he's putting himself in trouble. And then when Srikanth's getting the chance, his attack, I mean, it's such a short lift.
Exactly. If it comes back even just slightly too high, he's immediately pummeling it into the court.
We saw then Chou, he obviously got the first one back, but the second one was right by Srikanth, so it's an easy put away for a player of that caliber.
Well, that's well left. So again, he's pushed himself into the lead, and this is exactly what Chou Tien Chen would not want. He's got to keep that lead down and try to get, as you said, Chris, a little bit more inventive. that's very well, we're talking about inventive, but that not necessarily on your knees.
Incredible pickup by Srikanth, the quality of that block.
Yeah. And Chou Tien Chen realizes at that point that being on your knees really not the best positionally. Still, you guys, I mean, I've seen it. You guys get yourself into some serious situations on court in terms of flying dives and all sorts of things.
I mean, I was quite fortunate. I had a doubles partner to cover me.
Yeah,
so when I was upside down, I just shout for him to cover me, and he'd do all the hard work. Yeah, singles, quite different.
Singles, it does need a lot of court coverage. And just on that note, while we've actually got some points as well, your qualification process, of course, you had massive success in 2016 with the bronze medal, but in this part of the season for you, how did that go? Was it easy to qualify for you? Or?
I mean, it's within reason, it's not easy for anyone. There's a few exceptions where you'll have some singles players that might be the highest ranked in their country. Yeah. And within reason, that kind of it does allow you to qualify as long as you're kind of top 50 in the world. You're almost guaranteed qualification. But you know, down here we've got two players that are kind of in a unique-ish situation. You've got Srikanth, who's the third Indian player. Now he has to get top 16 in the world to qualify, but not only that, he has to be the second.
Yeah.
Which he's got Lakshya Sen, who's ranked just above him, and then you've got Chou, who is the highest ranked, but he's got one of the younger players, Lin Chunyi, who's ranked a little bit below him at 21, but he, you know, he's on a good run. He's a young player who's shown a lot of promise. That it's unlikely, but he's just got to keep a little eye that he doesn't get overtaken by you know, compatriot, and he doesn't slip a little bit down the rankings, because although Chou is currently ranked 14, you know, he's got to stay top 16 really, and it's these interesting battles that you have kind of internally, and it's even in doubles as well. Obviously, there's a lot less players that can qualify.
Basically, there's a lot on your mind.
Oh, there is, and this is one of
you have to be aware.
The difficult things. You can overthink it, you can overanalyze. And the integral thing is you focus on yourself. You know, if you worry about all the other things that are going on, well, it's taking it away from the integral part, which is just focusing on yourself. And if you play well, you'll qualify. You know, a few strange things can happen, but you can't control those things if they're external with other players.
Well, that's a great insight into how it all works, because really, for the average people that are watching, the badminton fans, who may be lifelong badminton fans, the entire process of qualifying for the Olympics is very, very detailed affair, you know.
You'll often see players playing a lot more tournaments than normal just because you have to.
Yeah.
You've got Chou, who... Chou and Lin are actually the two players from Chinese Taipei. Actually, 29 tournaments on their rankings, and they're the two highest players in the men's singles top 25 in the world, and both from Chinese Taipei. 29 tournaments.
And just to remind you, 31 tournaments all year in the HSBC BWF World Tour. So 29 tournaments. If you just think about it, as to how fit you have to be, how physically conditioned you have to be just to turn up and make it, let alone succeed.
That's exactly it. If you get any injuries, you know, we just had Yamaguchi on before, and Yamaguchi, phenomenal player, no doubt about that, but she got injured, and she, you know, she's played 2 tournaments in 6 months. So you got Chou, the polar opposite of that. And this is what I said to him, you know, earlier on, 34 years of age, and he's doing incredible to stay in this shape.
Yeah, not just plodding along, really, you know, integrating and engaging. So 7-all here in the second game. And while we have been expounding a little on Paris qualification, there's been some wonderful badminton going on between these two stalwarts. Kidambi just edging ahead, 8-7. But facing a bit of a stiffer test now. He's coming up with, and that was another great winner into the corner.
Kidambi read that so well.
Yeah, and controlling the drift well as well. I said we have identified that the drift right now, what we've seen so far is blowing from the top of your screen down. So Chou Tien Chen in a good position here, fire into the wind, just like that.
And that's the first time we've seen him a little bit fired up, a little bit of emotion displayed.
8-all.
Sometimes as a player, you just need to let it out, obviously in a controlled manner, but you just let it out. Kind of, you're letting the... Victoria, they're obviously very happy with that. But just letting those emotions out, obviously, you know, in a sensible, controlled way, it just releases kind of that energy and relaxes you a little bit.
Settling into the game in every sense of the word. That's going to go, oh, wow.
Perfect,
yeah, that was absolutely on the money.
And it's difficult to do that because he's controlled it incredibly well with that slight drift going in that direction.
Yeah.
I think that's what's caught Chou slightly by surprise there, because I think it was, couldn't quite see in the replay, but I think it was almost plumb on the line.
Well, Chou seemed a little bit shell-shocked from that landing where it did. Now he's trying to shift up, vary the angles. But Kidambi too sets himself up.
Great pick-up.
Great variation from Kidambi, and he follows it up with another great cross-court.
Yeah,
wonderful stuff.
That is brilliant from Kidambi, absolutely brilliant. Pretty much every shot he played there. Like, that's a phenomenal pickup from Chou there, and it's a good quality block.
But Kidambi was unfazed, and as you can see, comes back.
Pretty much millimetre perfect, this final smash. But it was every shot he played, and I'd say they've either done it very well tactically, or his shot selection today, Kidambi.
Oh, it's been good, yeah.
It has. It's very hard for Chou to be on balance or early at any time. Every time Kidambi's playing a shot, he's catching Chou just slightly by surprise. So I say it's great kind of tactical, either before the game or shot selection during the game that the Srikanth's doing at the moment.
So 10-8. Kidambi with
10-8.
a good chance to go into that mid-game interval in the second ahead. And just an update on that other men's singles match happening on court 3. Prannoy did actually lose the first game to Lu Guangzhou 21-17. And they're just starting the second now. Winner of that match plays the winner of this match in round 2. Oh, bit
11-8
short from
interval.
Chou Tien Chen, 11-8 at the break.
就是你跑动，我们打动力链是打连贯的、流畅，对吧？那个盲区那个地方注意，比较多肌肉出来。
So they're back on court. That is a very interesting coaching setup that Chou Tien Chen has. That's a great person to have around. This kind of warm,
11-8,
smiling,
play.
Motivating presence.
I would love to know, you know, what Victoria actually says. Unfortunately, my
I know what you mean.
Mandarin's non-existent, so I don't have that ability. But I'd love to know what she says. If it's just encouragement and motivation, and or if it is that she is trying to give some tactical input, it would just be really interesting.
Got to be honest. If you started speaking Mandarin now, I'd just put the headset down. I'd be off. that would be so shocking. Well, another fast-paced rally. That one, is that on the line?
Nah, it's just drifted out.
Just drifted out.
10-11.
This is the thing. If Chou can do enough to stretch Kidambi and make it difficult for him and twist and turn him, it is going to be harder for Kidambi to control the drift. Yeah, but at the moment, he's just read it so well that Kidambi's not really been in that much. That's brilliant.
Even that one wasn't that far off. That's good play. 11-all.
11-all.
2 important points for Tien Chen.
Srikanth, handle properly. Next time, handle the shuttle properly. Not under the net.
Oh, just a reminder as to some court etiquette, handing that shuttle back. Deep serve from Tien Chen. Oh, great return by Kidambi. Wow.
Service over.
This is the difficult thing now for Chou when he's playing into the drift. His attack maybe isn't quite as dangerous. It's not a bad smash at all, but phenomenal block.
Good stuff from Tien Chen.
12-all.
Held his ground.
So here, Kidambi's just overdone it. He's in an okay position. Just forced it a little bit too good. Doesn't have to be a winner, that one. Just wants to stretch Chou.
As you can see in the background, Lu Guangzhou, and that's Carolina Marin on court 4 up against Beiwan Zhang in the women's singles.
Service over. 13-12.
All 4 courts in action, as you'd imagine, on day 2. Plenty of matches to get through. These opening round 1 and round 2. But of course, these are all round 1 matches. Oh, Kidambi was all over that.
14-12.
He's been getting a good trajectory on these shots, keeping them nice and steep.
Yeah, he's mixed his attack well. He's obviously shown he's got phenomenal power and great placement when he's hitting the more powerful shot. But there, lovely cut, good placement again on that, and he's always just been half a step ahead of Chou for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's kind of reading it. There again, pops up, followed it up with something delicate at the net. Big lift to the back.
Phenomenal depth as well,
yeah,
the quality on that lift.
He's just setting himself up for another attempt at a winner, but setting himself up so well. Oh, wow. From the hip.
Over.
It didn't work out for him.
13-14.
And Chou there reading it really well, and that lift from Kidambi just a little bit too flat. See here, just a little bit too flat. Chou reads it really well, and then Kidambi's in big, big, big trouble.
Well, it's just a very difficult place to pick up that shuttle from. Now, these next 3 points, absolutely crucial for Chou Tien Chen. 1 game down, remember. So he needs to hopefully seal these next 3 points. That's the first one gone, of course, but if he can take it to 16-15, then he might have a very good chance. Well, I'm just saying that he has a chance. I wouldn't say it's very good the way Kidambi's been playing, but what he doesn't want is for Kidambi to get to 17-18.
Yeah, the biggest thing is here for Chou, he's obviously lost the first game, and he's got to stick with his opponent. He's got to keep as close as possible and try and, you know, frustrate him, annoy him, get some cheap points.
Yeah.
Service over.
Well, that one worked out for him.
14-15.
Oh, it looks suspiciously close again. That's very, very close. If you're thinking about that drift coming in, he's really taking a bit of a gamble on those. Worked out well for him, though. Got the serve back. Oh, took a net tumble.
A little bit of fortune there. Chou, when he was just about to start that rally, he looked a little bit unsettled there on the serve, and I think it's because obviously the last point he served, Kidambi was on it so quick.
Yeah. Oh, he has. His reactions have been absolutely phenomenal. Kidambi going delicate, playing to the backcourt, looking for the winner, and it's steep enough. That was a great setup by Kidambi.
16-15.
Just draws Tien Chen in.
Shout towards the direction of the opponent, okay?
And that's drive has been good enough. So 16-15, and it's crunch time for Chou Tien Chen. The business end of the second game. And if he's not careful, he's going to be staring down the barrel. That's worked well for him.
Service over. 16.
Job one done, ties it up at 16.
And I think Chou's definitely having a higher base there, and Srikanth could feel that Chou was kind of on top of him. Chou's almost playing without the rear of his court because he knows it's quite a lot harder for Kidambi to be able to lift over him, but do a good lift.
He's a big lad. Oh, nicely nicked in by Kidambi. Got to time those interceptions just right. I'm sure as a doubles player, that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, you got to read it. And then the great thing is there, though, from Kidambi, he's kind of brushed it rather than killed it. It's a small, quick, sharp swing. It's not a big follow through. And the power, it's enough power to obviously win it. His opponent can't even get on it. You don't want to hit that too hard.
Service over.
Well, especially with the drift behind
17 all.
So 17 all, and this second game is still far from being inscribed in history. Go either way. Bit of a flare-up of form from Chou Tien Chen, but he's got to keep it flat enough and not give Kidambi any kind of opportunities for either a setup or a winner. Oh, that's a good shot. Nice.
Absolutely millimeter perfect.
18-17.
Well, job two's done. He's now got a lead. Quick.
Absolutely brilliant placement on that attack. That's pretty much impossible to get back. Steep and on the line. It's just slightly flat lift there from Kidambi.
Well, it's a good time for Tien Chen to be peaking. I mean, it's still a long way back from here if he wants to take the match, but you got to take things one step at a time. so far, those steps, that's a good opportunity for him. He's in control at this point. It was that exchange, Chris. Yeah, that was it.
Kidambi did incredible because Chou played an unbelievable net shot early on. Got a net cord, and the lift from Kidambi was brilliant. And then he just kind of bides his time, is calm, works the rally until he gets the opening.
So Kidambi ties it up at 18. Running out of points here.
Very exciting now.
This is what it's all about. Nervous energy coming off the Chinese Taipei bench. What a time. I think he's just changing his grip or his racket. A lull in play at the most crucial of moments.
Play.
Great by Kidambi. Great defense. Oh, he's absolutely left that. Took his eye off the shuttle at the end, but what a rally it was.
Yeah, and this match has definitely got better. Better and better.
Yeah, well, Chou Tien Chen, as I said, he stepped up. He stepped into the fray. That's all you can ask for. Longest rally, 32 shots. Pretty much every single one of them, except, well, 31 of them, really, because the last shot was a real mess up.
To say the length that from Kidambi when he's lifting, he's incredible. He's putting Chou basically on the back line, and to do that when he's in trouble, Chou's playing a tight net, and he's still managing to do that with the drift. It's incredible control from Kidambi.
And that's at the start of the week. Imagine if he gets a good run in this week, what kind of control he's going to have at the end of the week. Tien Chen just drawing him in. Oh, that's gone wide.
Yeah, and Kidambi there was just signaling after. Maybe he could have just played net, just could have kept that net.
19.
The length was good, but he just dragged it out the side.
Well, it's a better showing by Chou Tien Chen in the second game for sure, but I can tell you one thing. There's no way he would have wanted to leave it this late. 19 all, and there's every chance of Kidambi just snatching this game and match. So Tien Chen has to really step up right now. That's what I was talking about. No mistakes allowed. Match point.
20. Match point 19.
42 minutes. These guys have been on court.
Speed of this rally's just gone
It's
through
unbelievable.
the roof, yeah.
And he's done it. Extra points.
Service over.
First to 2 or first to 30, whichever comes
20
first.
all.
He's given himself a lifeline at least. Kidambi was taking it just a little bit too careful in that rally. And in the end, splays it out wide. Oh, late take by Tien Chen.
Great pick up.
Can you believe it?
21-20.
Net play has finally let Kidambi down, and he's now facing a game point.
Chou did incredible there because obviously had that indecision at the back of the court. Was he going to take it? Was he not? And then he had that moment. What a pickup. The control from there. Then he reads that final final net exchange, and that's the difference. Kidambi can see his opponent chasing forward and putting that pressure on him, tightens up a little bit.
Well, this is it. He did the hard work, tying it up. He went ahead, pushed it to extra points, and now he has his chance to try and secure a third game. Gone wide. Deep serve worked.
Second game.
So 22-20, and it is game on.
1 game all.
Yeah, that was quite an extreme kind of dance move from Victoria there.
Oh, she's been over the moon down there. So that's where we are right now, 21-15, and then 22-20 to Chou Tien Chen.
Continue. Don't care. Win, loss, don't care. Start important. Set march. Start important. Malli. నువ్వు కరెక్ట్గా ఆడే అనుకో మళ్ళీ వచ్చేస్తుంది చచ్చిపోతున్నాడు సో మంచి పేస్ ఆడు చిన్న చేయనీయకు ఫాస్ట్గా లేదు మంచిగా ఇక్కడ నుంచి మళ్ళీ లెఫ్ట్ లైన్ కరెక్ట్గా వెళ్తాయి పేస్లో ఆడాలి నువ్వు కదిలాడాలి ఒక్కొక్క పాయింట్ ఫస్ట్ 5-6 పాయింట్స్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ నీకు ఇప్పుడు ఎక్కడైనా మంచిగా మళ్ళీ ఫ్రీగా ఆడుకో ఇప్పుడేం పర్లేదు కరెక్ట్గా ఆడే అన్నీ జస్ట్ ఏదో మిస్ అయిపోయింది అది క్లోజ్ పెట్టాడు అది లిఫ్ట్ వెళ్ళిపోయింది అండ్ నెట్ కార్డ్ వచ్చింది చాలా ఆడాలి మంచిగా ఆడాలి మంచి స్టామినా ఉంది
Court 1, 20 seconds. Court 1, 20 seconds.
So back on court for the deciding game 3. Now, Chris, obviously the second game ending in that manner means that there's a huge psychological twist here. Chou Tien Chen now firing on momentum, and Kidambi is thinking to himself, wow, I've got to do it all over again.
Yeah, it's tough for Kidambi because, you know, he had match points, he had it in his grasp, and he just let it slip through his fingers, and it's imperative that he has a good, confident, strong start to this final game.
So playing into the drift now, Kidambi.
Yeah, he saw it now on Chou, he stepped in well, he read what his opponent's doing. Didn't see any of in the first game. Yeah. We saw a little bit more coming in the second game. But there, he steps in well, and then it's just the pressure from taking the shuttle early that makes it difficult for Kidambi.
Well, Chou Tien Chen definitely exerting some physicality now. Oh, he misread that one. That was well wrong-footed by Kidambi.
1-all.
I mean, for the neutral, it's fantastic because, you know, those last 5 points of the second game saw both players really getting stuck in.
Yeah, and both players went into almost like turbo mode, as in the speed of the rally went through the roof.
That's gone wide. Mistakes creeping into Kidambi's game now.
Service over.
Yeah, and you can see Kidambi's almost just trying to calm himself down. You can't go too early. You can't force it when it's not the right time, because then you end up gifting a point to your opponent, as we saw just then.
Service over. 2-all.
So points falling quickly here in this third game, but evenly spread. And that's good power play from Chou Tien Chen, forcing the issue.
3-all.
Definitely there, a little bit of fortune from Chou on this overhead. I think he did mean to place it there, but it did sound like a slight mishit. I think a little bit of that was maybe part of the frame.
Short, quick-fire rallies now.
Service over.
It's good pressure there from Kidambi there. And then just
4-3.
following out that one and that one. The little reverse at the body, the second to the last shot, just sets him up on that last shot.
So you could see his intent just moving forward.
Yeah,
rally.
When you put your opponent in trouble, it's hard for them to be able to go over you. When you get them in a lot of trouble, you want to step up.
Kidambi opening up again, using the backcourt. Now, of course, just finding it a little bit more difficult to control.
4-all.
This is really turning into an epic,
Yeah,
a real tussle of the experience of both players. And it's so important for both because I wouldn't say either one of them is in a great run, as in they're really flowing overall. If you look at kind of the last 7 tournaments for Chou, he's had 4 first rounds. He's had 2 second rounds, but then he did have 1 massive win, which is where it's just so up and down for himself. And same for Kidambi.
Yeah. Well, 34 and 31, 65 years combined on that court. Oh, that's probably the latest take I've ever seen in badminton. And no surprise, he's a little bit positioning off there.
5-4.
Oh, it's great from Kidambi. Oh, he nips it over.
They were brilliant pickups there from Chou, but Kidambi did brilliant. Just keep his nerves and his composure. Phenomenal placement on that attack. Then again, move your opponent, get there early, take it early, outmaneuver your opponent again. Didn't try anything too extreme, didn't try anything too much. Just played the full rally. Yeah. If you take the shuttle early and put your opponent in trouble as he did, he stretched, he turned, he twisted. Chou.
He's bleeding on the knee and also blood on the court.
So we just got
some very animate coaching going on.
Yeah, we just got a slight break because Chow's had he's just unfortunately cut his knee slightly.
Oh, no.
It's a little bit of blood on the court and they're just trying to close that up.
Wow, this match has really had everything so far. There's your medical break. Well, that's going to need some kind of covering, obviously. And I hope that doesn't limit his movement too much, because we've really been getting into a rich vein of form in this match.
I think Chou will be fine. You got legs as strong as that.
Yeah,
I think it'll take a lot to stop them.
I was about to say, you know, it's just chipping into tree trunks, really, isn't it? Now, what's interesting is what's happening in this conversation here.
And this is the thing, this is where you have to know your player so well, because
yeah,
obviously Kashyap's giving a lot of information here, which on one hand can be absolutely brilliant because the player needs that. But then on the other hand, if for Kidambi is almost too much information and this long break,
yeah,
it can almost be information overload.
Yeah.
So it's so important when you have a break, because this now is quite long.
And it's early on in the third game as well, where he's already had to deal with the fact he's playing a third game.
Yeah, but how you kind of then start after the break, your concentration can waver, let's say 2%, but 2% is a lot at this level, because each little percent adds up. I think they're struggling, unfortunately, to be able to maybe just put something over it or stop it.
Well, it looks like it might be in that you know, there are certain areas on joints, especially, that are constantly moving, and that's the problem. If you get a cut there, and it's very difficult to band-aid it up. In the end, it just looks like a simple cover-up. But that's what I mean about limiting mobility. I hope that knee, he's obviously going to feel it all the time when he moves it, but I hope it doesn't limit his ability to get around.
I think when you've got the adrenaline going through your body and everything, it'll be absolutely fine. I think it'll still be flying around the court.
Meanwhile, update on court 3. It's Lu Guangzhou, who's been in pretty consistent, reliable form. He's about 2 points away right now from besting HS Pranoy. I've had a slight eye on that match. It's right next door to the one we're watching now, and Pranoy's been playing his usual effective match, but Lu Guangzhou, again, we talked about it, Chinese singles players. There is a certain level of consistency and quality throughout all of them that you have to get past before you can even think about beating them.
This is the amazing thing that you have when you have such depth within a nation, because all the people you're sparring with,
exactly,
you know, 4 in the world, 6 in the world, 8 in the world, 10 in the world, 12 in the world, that you know that when you're training well with those guys, you know, you're training with the very best in the world. It's a bit more complicated when you have some players from nations where there's a massive gap or jump. You know, Carolina Marin, who's currently on court, and you know, she's a phenomenal player, number 5 in the world.
The rest of the
just a little bit lower, so it can be a bit more difficult. Also for the doubles categories in Europe, some of the nations don't quite have the 2nd, 3rd, 4th men's doubles pair that can quite compete at that same level, or ladies doubles, or even mixed doubles.
Well, as you said, there was blood on the dance floor, and I can see now that they are making a very, very good point of cleaning that up. And I think we should be ready to get underway now. Tien Chen is moving, and he looks like he's moving quite fluidly. And Kidambi, with, well, as you can see, he's raring to go.
But this is the integral thing, especially for Kidambi now, to stay focused. It sounds so silly, but it's so easy for your concentration to waver just a fraction.
I can understand,
and
absolutely.
This point is, it's not worth 2, but it almost is, as in who's going to, you know, is it going to be a short, sharp point where someone's not ready? Is it going to be a simple mistake?
Well,
6-4. Play.
6-4. Here we go.
That's what I mean, like, simple mistake, gift. And whenever there's a break, it's so imperative that the rally after the break, you know, you play the full rally, you don't try anything too much, you just get yourself back into the game, because that delay was so long.
Yeah, especially relatively compared to the rest of the match. That was certainly not
Service over.
On the plan.
5-7.
Tien Chen back with serve.
Out.
Well, well, well.
Service over.
Short on that serve.
8-5.
It's the thing after the break. 2 gifts from Chou.
Patchy, to say the least. Oh, nice return by Chou. But again,
9-5.
just snatches at that net shot, and Kidambi racing away. 4-point lead, heading towards the 3rd and final mid-game interval.
We saw exactly the same in the 2nd, and Chou managed to find a way back.
That's right. That was an epic 2nd game for Chou Tien Chen, it has to be said. And he left it late. Remember, basically only started his charge at 15 points.
This is the thing now, after this break linked with his knee, quite a few gifts he's now given to Kidambi.
He's got to watch that. Kidambi. And that applause you can hear in the background is for Lu Guangzhou, who's now going to be the opponent that either of these players face, as he is bested Pranoy. Score symmetry, 21-17, 21-17.
Court 1, 20 seconds. Court 1, 20 seconds.
好，没有关系。
Coach, please.
Well, Tien Chen back on court, now Kidambi as well. And actually looked for a second that Victoria and his team wasn't too happy with the way
11,
they patched up
5,
his knee.
play.
Well, she'll have plenty of time to have a look at that after this match. And to win it, he's going to need to step up a little bit and overcome that 11-5, would make that 12-5 backhand kill.
12, 5.
And he's really now starting to creep away from Chou.
Yeah.
Srikanth.
I know. I think if it gets to 8, maybe 10 points lead, then I think he's going to be looking very bleak for Chou Tien Chen, even with this renewed flare of form that he's had.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant shot.
Wonderful.
And there Kidambi steps in. He steps in. As soon as you step in to take the shuttle early, you have all the options in the world. Chow's made a prediction and Kidambi's seen him step in. He's just held it and then gone over him. Brilliant shot choice from Kidambi.
So 13-5 now. So it is up to 8.
This is the thing since we had that big break.
Yeah.
One-way traffic for Kidambi.
If you look at the way the points have accrued since then and before
14,
then,
5.
it has been very patchy since that long break.
And the big thing for me is since the break, I don't think Chow's kind of got back into the match. And he's...
Yeah.
And that's why I said it's so imperative. As soon as you have a big break, the most integral thing is getting back into your rhythm, getting kind of back into the match as soon as possible. And I think still hasn't for me.
It's looking a lot more like the first game, with Kidambi basically asking all the questions. There's another very, very wide shot, and it's 10 points.
5.
I believe it was 6-4 when we had that issue with the...
Yeah.
6-4 to 15-5.
Exactly. The stats speak for themselves. Oh, another backhand kill, this time wonderfully intercepted. And he's running away with it now, Kidambi. Just crossed the hour mark for this match.
And I got to say, obviously, I made the point of maybe it was too much information or maybe it was just right from Kashyap. Obviously just right. I mean, since all that information he gave to his player.
I do think that since the mid-game interval in the third, he's calmed himself down a bit more. But I think in the initial aftermath of that, I think he was still a little bit rushed. But he's definitely now playing the way he did in the first game, and that's the important part.
Big thing is when you get a lead like this, though, you can just settle. You can calm down.
Yeah.
You can just relax just that little bit. Not too much, because then you become passive.
Complacent,
and complacent, exactly. But he's just enough that he can... We saw unbelievable shot selection. We saw a few rallies ago where he almost held it, just played the right shot. Now, it's so important, though, that he doesn't just lose that concentration and go off the boil here and then give a few gifts to allow Chou back in.
Well, he's got a buffer. I mean, he can reasonably give 4 or 5 gifts if he was pushed to it. Ideally, of course, you wouldn't want to do that.
That's the thing. You don't want to let a player of Chow's level and experience back in.
So Kidambi patiently setting up court. He had to dig deep to pick that one up. Couldn't do it.
8-16.
This is the thing for me now. Chow's kind of settled a bit more and he's back in, but it's taken far too long. It took 9 points in a row from Kidambi.
Wow. 9-point run in the third. Amazing.
Take those 9 points away and obviously it's nip and tuck.
Yeah, it would have been much, much closer, you're right. Well, that's a huge cross court. And the change in angle from Kidambi was enough to give him the 17th.
Service over. 17,
that was good.
8.
This was great. And it was good enough to nullify any kind of response from Tien Chen. Well, he pulled it out of the bag in the second game, but this is a much tougher ask now in the third. And as you said, Chris, happy player, happy coach.
Well, it's amazing to see. It looked like Kidambi was almost sharing a jovial moment with his coaches, but it's lovely to see a player that relaxed. Now, you only get that from playing very well, which he is doing, but also having that lead.
Yeah, having that massive lead. Well, he's got Tien Chen running. He's set himself up for a wonderful winner.
And that's the thing, when you are confident, when you are relaxed, like phenomenal execution there on that shot. And this is what can come from when you have people behind your court that you're really relaxed and confident with, which obviously he is. You know, Kashyap was one of his teammates and someone that he has known for a very long time.
Court 19-8.
So 19-8. 2 points away from a spot in the second round. Face Lu Guangzhou. Oh, absolutely no way he was going to let that one go.
20.
Races in.
Match point.
Yeah, brilliant.
12 match points.
Brilliant commitment there from Kidambi. Fantastic overhead, and then he knows it's almost impossible for Chou to get that back over and chases forward.
Well, in this current form, 12 match points, I'm saying he's going to need 2, max. And again, I was wrong. I was wrong about Akane Yamaguchi. She needed 1. And now Kidambi in our second match today on court 1 has also just needed 1. Pushed to 3 games, but takes the third, 21-8.
Won by Kidambi Srikanth, 21-15, 20-22.
In 66 minutes. And you got a feel for Chou Tien Chen. Was up and down in terms of form, but really, as you said, Chris, it was the break. And he never really had any time after that to really think about what he was going to do, because Kidambi raced off to, we said it, 8 to 10 point lead, and then after that, it was curtains.
Yeah, there was a patch of maybe 3 points where Chou almost got back into it, but it was just far too late because he had such a large deficit.
So he moves on to the second round. And Team India, as was expected, well, they may have lost with HS Prannoy, but they're through, as you can see, with Kidambi Srikanth. Through the second round, face Lu Guangzhou. So back on court one, as you can see, that was a fantastic 66-minute affair between Kidambi Srikanth and Chou Tien Chen. Up next is the mixed doubles. Tang Chunman and Si Ying Sweat looking to continue their good form on from their win at the German Open against Yamashita.